for one last time to the place where we are going to check in with the latest happenings in the world of the IPL 2022. Yes, it's final day, and that means that we won't really be checking in too much when it comes to IPL related news. And I, for one, am quite frankly stunned that this little series of ours is actually going to be coming to an end. I mean, it feels like just yesterday that I started looking for informations, little tidbits regarding these things, so that I could come have a chat with you guys about what's happening. And well, we're at the end of the season already. So without further ado, let's check in with the two teams who are going to be contesting today's final, the Gujarat Titans and the Rajasthan Royals. Now, the Gujarat Titans are obviously enjoying, and they have been the team to beat this season. They've been extremely good, finished top of the table. They won qualifier one, went straight to the final, and for them, as they're putting it out there very nicely, it's that time when it's time for the final countdown. Of course, shouting out a pretty popular song which some of you might have heard. If you haven't, I highly recommend you go check it out. And of course, sharing a few pictures along the way of their prep, as well as some exchanges which they had with the Rajasthan Royals players and staff. And obviously this is going to be a match to anticipate, but whereas for Gujarat, they're coming in as both a new team who have nothing really to lose, while also being the team that has set the standard. Rajasthan Royals have been a little different in that regard. I mean, they have relied largely on a lot of individual brilliance, most notably from the likes of Joss Buttler and Sanju Sams Joss Buttler and Yuzi Chahal, I'm sorry, but they're clearly channeling the spirit of one man when it comes to this match, and that is, of course, Shane Warne, the man who has still led them to their one and only title, and who is, passed away earlier this year. Definitely the great man went too soon, but the Rajasthan Royals are definitely channeling the spirit of Shane Warne, the spirit of those beloved underdogs of 2008. They're in the final again, and based on what I've seen so far from them this season, I would say that you'd count them out of this match in your own peril. Indeed, they are already broadcasting the fact that this final of 2008 is indeed their hashtag Sunday motivation, and well, who can blame them? They would definitely want to make it 2 trophies, becoming thus, I think, the 3rd team only to have actually won 2 trophies in the IPL era since it began in 2008. I, for one, would definitely be excited to see the Royals win, but hey, let's see who exactly manages to get that all-important W later tonight. And of course, if we're talking about both teams, it's interesting to check in with what Mr. Wasim Jaffer has to say about both captains and the kind of approach that they and their teams have had. Now, Jaffer is normally someone who we check in with when it comes to his humor, but his insight here itself is pretty interesting, because he said that he has a lot of respect for Hardik, the way that he's captained, especially considering that he came back into the IPL after being out of action for a number of months, and he's actually led the team very well. And let's be fair, no one really gave Gujarat a chance of making it this far yet under Hardik's leadership. And not just his leadership, but even the way that he's played. He's batted higher up the order, he's bowled regularly and often with the new ball, and he's done it really, really well. And what's more, he's led his troops very, very brilliantly as well. As Wasim Jaffer says, it's extremely heartening to see this if you're both an India or even a Gujarat fan. Whereas for Rajasthan Royals and Sanju Samson, he said that Sanju's leadership in batting has in fact been superb, and he never took a step back, and he knows how good Buttler has been, but Sanju's cameos, and that's something that's very interesting, is that Sanju has arguably been that batsman who's come in the middle order and provided them with some impetus. Yes, fans would doubtless like to see him score more runs, but he has done a very good job of giving them that impetus when it really comes down to it. And also the way he's stuck to a template. Jaffer's also praised Samson for sticking to a 6+5 combination, which many, including us at Sports Today, had in fact written off before the season. So I don't know about you, but this is going to be one very interesting final, and reading this and sharing this with you guys, I'm getting more and more excited as the time for the final approaches. One person who definitely would be feeling the disappointment, however, of not being in that final would of course be former India skipper Virat Kohli. As we know, the Royal Challengers Bangalore made it as far as qualified 2, but ended up losing out to the Rajasthan Royals, and in fact it took Kohli a while to break his silence and actually address that loss. Well, he's finally done it, and as he points out very clearly, he says, well, sometimes you win and sometimes you don't, but the 12th man army, which is of course the RCB's name for their own fans, they've been fantastic, always backing us throughout. You make cricket special. And of course he says that the learning, well, it never ever stops. He also thanked management as well as the support staff and the people who've been part of this, hopefully for RCB's sake, and for the sake of Virat Kohli, who's an absolute legend of Indian cricket but has somehow bafflingly never won an IPL. Next year will be the cup, will be their year for RCB, and the 2023 might just be the year when we can say Isala Cup Namde. And that is it for this latest and final edition of the IPL News Wrap. If you have joined me consistently for this little video where I enjoyed chatting with you guys and sharing some updates, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. But shower us with some more love, and don't forget to like the video, share it with your friends, leave us a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and last but not the least, don't forget to download the Gamezy app to fulfill all of your fantasy gaming needs. Remember, you stand a chance of winning up to 5 crores daily, and you can make multiple teams through multiple phases of the game. I'm definitely going to be playing some Gamezy tonight because I'm very excited about the final and I enjoy a little fantasy gaming along with watching the match. You should do the same. Again, don't forget to use the link in our description and download the app. As always, I'm Shane Dias, and I'll see you guys very, very soon. Bye-bye for now.